She says we can rewire our brain to avoid emotional eating and weight gain. Please, yeah, I know. You like that? Please welcome Dr. Sandy Van, everyone. Nice to have you. Okay, emotions can sabotage weight loss. Yes.
Okay, when we talk about emotional eating, we've got to talk about the brain, because the emotional eating is likely a byproduct of repetitive behavior that we've done many, many times in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you talking about just being mindless with it, not thinking about it, or?
That's actually the perfect way to describe it. It's your brain going on autopilot in response to emotions. So if you've practiced emotional eating thousands of times in the past, starting from childhood, your brain makes this association between high emotions and eating tasty food. Yeah.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about your 4-step process to avoid emotional eating. Number 1, note the urge.
Note the urge, right. So with emotional eating, the brain sends deceptive messaging because it's already made these associations between emotions and eating. And so to note the urge is an important step because you're promoting this space between the urge and the action of eating. Yeah.
Do you say to yourself, Marilyn, why are you opening up the cupboard? What is it that you need in the cupboard? Shut the cupboard. What is the urge?
But do you know what? Noting the urge is helpful because it helps you identify the patterns. So if you have sat in your kitchen many times in the past at a specific time and wanted something tasty, not broccoli, but something tasty like chips or
something
cookies,
salty for
then
me anyway.
it's likely being driven by an association your brain has already made.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Label distorted thinking. What does that mean?
So distorted thinking is really the deceptive messaging your brain sends you that typically gets you into trouble with food. And it's important to acknowledge because a thought is just a thought, right?
Yeah.
You don't always have to act on those thoughts. And so that brings me to my third point, which is reframing that distorted thinking and that urge.
Give me an example of that.
The reframing?
Well, just tell me what the distorted and how you would reframe it.
The distorted thinking might be, and I think we'll use some examples later, is, I deserve to eat something really good tonight because I'm at a dinner party. Or I deserve to eat a second portion or a second helping of dessert. So that's dysfunctional because that thought over and over again has probably led us to overeat and leave the party feeling a little uncomfortable and bloated, and to really derail the progress we're making with our weight. But if you want to reframe that, you could use, well, I actually deserve to feel comfortable and healthy in my body, right? So leaving in the
back
past.
away, Brownie.
Yeah, disrupt that relationship with the brownie. You're not on speaking terms.
No. but that's what it's almost like I had to speak out loud to myself. Because mindlessly, you are doing this stuff. And then you wonder why you are doing it. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. Now, you want us to repeat that too, the reframing.
You have to repeat it. And the thing is that nobody's perfect and people have lapses. It's just about how you learn from those lapses to move forward.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to find out. Get your cards out because we got a game. Another one. We're putting you to the test today. The first step that Sandy wants us to do is to identify the type of emotional eater you are. So raise your yellow card in the audience if you're a celebrity. How do I say it?
Celebratory eater.
Thank you, celebratory. I practice that all day. Not that you're celibate. That you celebrate. Okay, who is that? Come on, put him up high. Okay, so tell me what that all means.
Well, a lot of celebratory eating has been ingrained in us since we were kids, right? So if you can remember a time when your parents used food to celebrate something, then you likely do that now. So celebration equates to food intake for you. But let's use the example of the dinner party again, right? Like
note the urge.
Yeah, note the urge. I'm at a dinner party. I typically overeat at dinner parties. The distorted thought. Everybody else deserves to eat, so why don't I deserve to eat too?
Okay.
Right? And that's a common one I see. And reframing it to, I deserve to be healthy and happy in my body, so that means practicing mindfulness when it comes to social occasions.
And then, recalibrate, rewire. Let's get back on track.
100%. Yeah.
So that might be from when you were little kids, but you did really well today. I've made this, or that kind of thing from childhood.
Ooh, you bring up a good point. That positive reinforcement is actually a really good way for the brain to learn a new association. So give yourself an opportunity to pass on the dessert or to pass on the second helping and reflect on that positivity, and you're more likely to do it again.
Okay, next one, Sandy. Let's see if they got this one.
Okay.
How many of you red carders out there are stress eaters? You eat. Stress. Eat. Got to eat now. Put your card up. Come on.
Right.
So that's interesting. About okay.
You know what? 80% of my patients are stress eaters. I have done the math. I've looked it over. It's a very common response to stress. And let's use an example of coming home from a long day of work.
Right.
Right? I need to
It's a long,
unwind.
tough day.
Yeah, you get in the kitchen, you look through the fridge, you think to yourself, I could use a bowl of cookies because I've had a stressful day and I deserve to. Right? So how do we reframe that? We might reframe it by reflecting on past events. So how did I feel the last time I actually ate in response to stress? And is this a way to manage my weight if I'm only going to let stress dictate what I eat?
What if you say, it's just this one time?
It's just this one time. Is it ever just this one time, though?
Never.
Is it ever just one cookie?
Never.
Yeah.
It's never,
Yeah.
never, never.
Yeah.
And that's a cumulative, right?
It's totally cumulative, and tasty food is designed to make you want more.
I know.
Right?
So just reframe the urge.
Reframe the urge.
You might have it last time when you went to, you kept doing this, then
Yeah.
you didn't feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Those jeans that you love so much got a little tight,
Right.
Right? That's
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
And you never really feel happy after.
No, you don't.
No.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You feel happy for the nanosecond that you
Right.
take that cookie and you put it in your mouth. Okay, green card if you're a sad eater. Are you a sad eater? Are you? See, with me, I stop eating when I'm sad. I just I'm not hungry. But sad eating is very emotional.
It's very emotional, and I should say that the exception to this would be, somebody struggling with mental health or depression
Of
or an
course,
eating disorder.
yeah.
These therapeutic approaches are not addressing the comprehensive management that is required there. So for regular sadness, I'll use the example of a family feud. I typically encounter that in my practice. Having a fight with a partner and wanting to eat your feelings away. So reframe that. You feel good in the moment when you eat, but how do you feel 60 minutes later? How do you feel the next day? Does managing your sadness with food actually equate to a net worth of happiness?
Right.
So it's about learning to independently manage your sadness and tolerating that sadness and letting it pass without turning to food. And creating that separation is important.
And experiencing that sadness because we have to experience it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's totally normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I guess the reason why I don't, and I know my sister does, but we talked about this. She said, I want to have control. My sadness is not in control, so I got to control something. So I control
Right.
what's coming into my body. That's how I look at it.
Right.
That's how I
Yes.
look at it.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, and I do talk to brownies.
Talk to Brown.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a reframe on for my part?
Well, so I think that is reframing it, that you want control over something. But ultimately, what are your values in life? Do
Right.
you feel that this is a way for you to sustainably manage your health? Because sadness is something that comes and goes. And you can't,
Absolutely.
like stress, you can't manage it. And so,
But if you're losing control of a situation, that
Right.
doesn't make me sad. It makes me angry. But
Right.
if I lose control, I need to control something. So,
Right.
But
could you do something more productive?
yeah.
Could you go for a walk? Could
Yes.
you call a friend? Could you
Yes.
take a bath?
How about this?
Yeah.
Get out of the kitchen.
Could you get avoidance? Avoidance.
Get out of the kitchen.
Yes, manage your setting. Manage your setting.
Sandy,
Yeah.
really good talking.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk to you again. That's Sandy Van, all right? We're gonna take a break. That's good.